Oh, here I am again. It's been a while. I am Astarius Miraculii, and today I am here to share some information on a very important subject: erotic innocence, and the importance of taking our power back. You know, we live in a world that promotes so much erotic shame. You know, people go around feeling so much guilt with regards to sexual energy. And sexual energy is the means by which we have all earned our physical incarnation. That is the means by which we live and move and have our being in this body that we wear. And so it's important for us to come into a deeper and more harmonious relationship with our sexual energy. The same energy, sexual energy, which makes babies and brings erotic pleasure, is the same energy that gives vitality to the body, that heals the body, and that which creates everything. And so it's better to have the hots than not. Because if you have a lot of sexual energy, you have a lot of access to creation force. You can create your life as you want it to be, because that is the force of creation. There is a synergy between the cosmogasm and the orgasm. The cosmogasm has to do with that energy that brought forth this entire universe when God Goddess came together in celestial copulation and brought forth this universe of which we are all a part. And that cosmogasm is the energy that is also meant to fuse the orgasm, because it is also once again creation, though on a microcosmic level. But we'll never be able to utilize this sexual energy in ways of creativity until we make peace with that energy and recognize that sexual energy is innately innocent and pure and beautiful and divine, no matter how much abuse there is in the world, no matter how much misuse of this energy there is in the world. This energy is defined by sacredness, it's defined by purity. And we want to transcend erotic shame. Erotic shame is something that abuses the abuse. Sometimes in the human experience we do run amok, and sometimes we do misuse energies and work with the forces in a way that is not healthy and not wholesome. And so even though there is this shame that I like to call erotic shame, you know, it is also an abusive energy. When we feel that we've made some mistakes in our use of sexual energy, and then we go into deep feelings of shame and guilt, the shame and the guilt abuses the abuse. Even when we look at other people who we feel are acting in unhealthy ways sexually, and then we look down on them and frown upon them, well, our judging them is also one of the ways in which we abuse the so-called abuse. And it compounds the energy. It makes the discordant energies associated with sexuality, you know, even bigger, and we have more of a problem. So many people are creatively blocked, and they don't know why. And a great many of these people are creatively blocked because there is a constant tendency to push the sexual energy down. Sometimes when certain ones of us don't have a physical relationship wherein there's an outlet to express this sexual energy, we don't want to feel that energy within our body, so we push it away. If you push sexual energy away, you're pushing away creation force. And no matter how many sexual mistakes you feel that you may have made, forgiveness is that which will bring the liberation of that energy, will make that energy available to you in a good way. You know, this is the healing process. This is the erotic innocence. We cannot experience the resonance of ascension without the force of innocence, because innocence does not judge you. When you recognize, and when I say we're innocent, it doesn't mean that we haven't made mistakes at times in our lives, but it is through the innocence that we are able to go into that exalted place of divine connection, which is meant for each and every one of us. We are meant to be reabsorbed in the absoluteness of God Goddess. And so when it comes to our use of sexual energy, let us remember the spirit of forgiveness. And remember that it is important to have a healthy relationship with your sexual energy, independent of who you're physically connecting with, sexually connecting with, or whether you connect with no one at all. You want to be in harmonious relationship with your sexual energy. That means even if you're in a monogamous relationship and you're exclusive to someone and you feel powerful sexual attractions to someone else, don't judge yourself. I think it's appropriate to keep your commitments. If monogamy is the path that you've chosen and you made that promise to someone, then absolutely keep those promises. But if you should feel attraction to someone else, don't judge yourself simply for feeling attraction. Many people do that. Didn't even act upon the attraction, but feel severely guilty because they felt an attraction to someone else. What is the life force that exists within every being? It's God, Goddess, Absolute. What does that mean? Well, every time that we've had the hots for anyone, in the deepest sense, we have the hots for God, because that's the life force that exists within every being. And yes, there's a personality. Yes, there's an individuality. But without that core essence of divine presence, we have no life. And that is the real energetics that we're being drawn to underneath all of the personality stuff and all of the human expressions. And so we need a lot of healing in our world. It's really important to take back our power. And so I want to offer some sound currents now for the healing of erotic shame and the realignment with erotic innocence, so that we can truly align with that divinity that exists within us. I offer these healing tones to you, to me, and every being in all existence, included and helping in the healing. And on behalf of any man, woman, being, or thing that ever sexually hurt you or harmed you, I, as a representative of every man, woman, being, and thing, apologize to you. And by the grace of God, Goddess, the whole universe, our being, we give back to you any power ever falsely taken from you by any man, woman, being, or thing relative to your sexual energy. And we hold sacred space for you to take back any power you ever falsely gave away to any man, woman, being, or thing relative to your sexual energy in any lifetime, calling back all of our fragments and soul pieces for our wholeness and ascension. And so we align with erotic innocence. We transcend erotic shame. Remember the power of this great energy of sexual force. When you make love with your beloved, take a moment to align with what it is that you want to create in your life. What do you want to bring into manifestation? So that through the directing of your thoughts, that energy can become the embodiment of that intention, and that which would have otherwise made a baby will bring forth the magical child of the crystallization of the things that you want to bring into being. It's time for us to transcend sexually transmitted diseases, for that is an outpicturing of erotic shame, the collectiveness of erotic shame. It's time for us to stop shaming our children. If you find your little child self-pleasuring, masturbating, don't judge and shame that child. Find healthier ways to teach them the honorable way to be present with sexual energy. But when you shame them, when you spank them, then you are abusing. This is sexual abuse in and of itself, to shame a child for pleasuring themselves, to shame a child for feeling sexual energy, because many children wake up very early in life sexually. And it's a natural thing. They didn't intellectually say, now I'm going to have this journey with sexual energy. It was a natural awakening of that force within them. The coming forward of the energy of creation. So learn healthy ways to address your children with regards to this energy. And even if you see other people that don't hold that energy, hold sexual energy in the way that you would, don't judge and put them down. Because that which you judge, you will also attract unto yourself. And even when you judge your own self, you're not able to learn whatever it is that you need to learn from that experience, because judgment is in alignment with resentment. What you resent, you reject. What you reject, you can't learn from, and then you have to learn it over. And so learn to look with eyes of innocence. And be compassionate even towards those who do the most heinous things with sexual energy. Even those who would do something like that to their own child. Anyone that does that has so much self-hatred, and they are in great need of compassion. And furthermore, they are an extension of our own self. Any being that you see anywhere and anywhen is you by extension. And when you severely judge another being, you are severely judging your own self by extension, because you live as a cellular presence within that same being. So learn to look with eyes of innocence. Look with eyes of compassion. Love yourself with the passion of heaven. Be of the resonance of this poem that I wrote called I Do Take Me. I love myself with all my heart, eternal knowing. God, impart no more hatred, no more pain, legacy of heaven mine to claim. Once I really hated me, a self-induced catastrophe. Others began to hate me too. Hate's reflection became my due. When I look in any mirror, each reflection is my own. If I dislike that which I am, rejection by others will be shown. In self-acceptance, let me grow, to hereby let all others know. I want them to accept me too. They only follow what I do. I ask myself to marry me, to thus fulfill my destiny. I promise always to be true. Self-love and honor I am due. Sweet self, I'm sorry for the pain. Forgive and love me once again. I want me for eternity, a better lover than to be. Now every bond is sweeter too. For loving me is loving you. Within the church of heaven's house, I do take me to be my spouse. And now I'd like to offer, as I move toward my completion, some didgeridoo to further accentuate the healing vibration that we're reaching for. I love you so much, beloved. Thank you so much for receiving that. There is so much to say on the subject of erotic innocence, and I won't say it all in this video. I will, however, let you know that I have a radio show now. Walking on Wings, Ascension Radio, by yours truly, Astarius Miraculii. So you can catch that on Blog Talk, blogtalkradio.com/Miraculii, my last name, Miraculii. And I have two wonderful shows, couple-hour shows on erotic innocence. So if you'd like to go really, really deep into the resonance of this truth, then you can certainly go to Blog Talk. And the radio show is every Wednesday, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. Central Time. And I think that you'll really enjoy, and you can experience archive shows on demand. So do go and check that out. I am Astarius Miraculii. My website is astarius.com, ASTARIUS.com. And the selection that I shared, I Do Take Me, the poem, is a selection from my book, Miraculii, Song of Ascension. And all those things are available on my website. I also have a number of CDs which are available on my website and available through iTunes and through Amazon if you like downloads. So I won't let it be so long before I bring in another video after this one. But thank you so much for receiving this. I love you so much. Up at the top there's room for all. It's just the bottom that's crowded, y'all. Namaste.